Good morning. Happy Monday to you. We're going to talk about the weekend. Did you have a good one? I hope so. Let me know what you did. We went out to the home show, and I'll show you what my favorite thing was from the home show coming up. It was nice to see Angie Hess, one of our sponsors from Spas and More. She had a wonderful booth there and met a lot of new people that are interested in coming on board the Real Monica Adams Show, which is what you're watching right now. If you're brand new to the show, good morning. Let me introduce myself. I am your host, Monica Adams, and we've got some die-hard people that have been watching us for the last 3 years, and you'll see them in the comment section. In fact, I met a lot of new people that said, we're going to hop on. We would love to interact with you while you're on. So Facebook and YouTube, X, Instagram, Rumble, LinkedIn, we're on multiple platforms, and we added Twitch. Now, I'm hoping Mason gets a chance to hop on with us. He said he was going to try to watch this morning. And Twitch is where a lot of the gaming community is, but they also get a chance to watch podcasts, as Mason said. So he's in 7th grade over at Sparing School. So I'm hoping he's on this morning. If he is, I'll be sure to interact with him. And to all of you, be sure to ask any questions or comments. We have a segment we call What the Weather. That's coming up. We have news you can use. And then we're going to get into a really powerful interview today. Have you ever heard of thermography? If you have, great. Have you had it done? Are you intrigued by it? Do you want to have an alternative and have a choice to mammograms? Well, you have all of that. Today, we're going to introduce you to April I just asked her how to pronounce her last name. Abbonizio. I think it's Abbonizio. She is the owner of Midwest Thermography Solutions, and we're going to hear her backstory of what led her to this incredible career. She has had Midwest Thermography Solutions for over 11 years now, and then in a couple of weeks, we're going to go to Midwest Thermography, and we're going to take you through the entire, just how it all is in the consultation, and then the fact that you do not have to be smashed and do not have to be around radiation. A lot of people have been intrigued by some of the reels that I've been showing in social media over the last couple of weeks. So that's all coming up for you this morning on the Real Monica Adams Show. All right, weather is truly up and down, including going into next week. And I'm going to ask Beckett about this. It's a segment we call What the Weather.
Good morning from St. Louis, Missouri.
All right, we've been talking about warmer weather. We've been talking about rain. I saw something in next week's forecast that had the 4-letter word that I do not like. So I'm going to talk to Beckett about that in just a second. Let's introduce him for you. If you're not familiar with our aspiring meteorologist, this is Beckett Moore. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, I did. How was yours?
It was good. We went down to the home show, which was a lot of fun. Did you end up getting out of the house? What'd you do?
Yeah, so yesterday we went golfing, and that was really nice. Saturday, I wish we would have been able to get out, but it was pretty cloudy and it was pretty cold.
Yeah, foggy and cold, and it was rainy. We went down to the home show. It wasn't too bad, but I ended up going on Saturday because I was like, it's too gorgeous on Friday. I don't want to be inside when it was nice like that. Okay, let me ask you. I looked at KMOV's forecast, and first of all, they're saying that the record high for today was back in the 20s. It was 80 degrees, so we'll see what Beckett says our forecast is going to be today. But are you hearing the possibility of some snow on the 18th?
I've not seen that. That's pretty far out from now. And if we do get snow then, it is probably going to be cold enough. We're going to have a pretty significant cold blast come through next week, but it would probably just be some snow showers, nothing too big in terms of accumulation.
You do understand that the very next day is my birthday. You need to get that out of the forecast.
Yes. Hopefully that clears. I think it will.
Okay, well, a lot of people like to go downtown, first of all, next weekend, or this coming weekend, I should say, for the big St. Patty's Day parade. And then a lot of people go to the Dogtown parade next Tuesday. So we're going to see what this pattern looks like. Okay, Beckett, let us know what today's going to be like and then heading into this colder weather.
Yeah, so looking at the current conditions right now, temperature of around 53 degrees, clear skies out there. Of course, our sunrise is later now that we have sprung forward, but our sunset tonight is at 7:02. Right now, dew point at 43, and it's pretty breezy out there. 13-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the south as you get those warmer temperatures and moisture coming into the area. Our high today, 82 degrees. Again, like Monica said, 80 degrees is the record, so likely to break that here in St. Louis today. Mostly sunny skies. We will get increasing cloud cover, though, as we head into the evening hours. We do have a severe weather threat as we head into tomorrow night. Overall, it's looking very marginal. All the threats are low. Of course, we can't rule out some damaging winds, maybe a tornado, but overall it's looking like not too big of a risk in the St. Louis area, but definitely make sure you have your phone, make sure you have that beside you, because these storms are going to be coming into the nighttime hours of tomorrow. Looking at our low tonight, 60 degrees. Tomorrow, 83 degrees, warming up to 83, mostly sunny skies. Again, severe thunderstorms overnight and possibly stretching into early Wednesday morning. I don't have the exact timing, but it's going to be similar to what we saw Friday night into Saturday morning, if you remember that. 61 degrees, 100% chance of rain. Again, that is for Wednesday morning. As we head into Thursday, that gets out of our way with sunny skies. And then Friday, Saturday, we do warm up by Sunday, 68 degrees, although we do have a chance of rain for your Sunday.
All right, so a little up and down as we've been talking about. If you are going to the St. Patty's Day parade, doesn't look too bad, but we'll be checking with Beckett on Friday to find out about this cold snap that's coming in to next week. I just told you I'm so ready for spring, and spring actually is next week Friday, so I'm done with this. We don't want any snow, Beckett, so do whatever you can, any magic you can do to get that out of the forecast.
Yes, I think I'm done with it too. I'm ready for spring.
Oh, I'm shocked to hear that because Beckett loves snow. All right. Well, you have a fantastic day in school. And then you have spring break next week, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yes.
He's going to my favorite place. He's going to Charleston, South Carolina. I'm so excited for you. All right. Well, we'll talk to you Friday and we'll see what things are looking like as we head into next week.
All right. But I just want to let you know I won't be able to come on Friday because we'll be on our flight around this time.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, then can you give me your own forecast and we'll just compare it to what it looks like with the rest in the area?
That sounds good. Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, safe travels to you. And then when will we talk to you again? Next Monday?
Monday. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, have a wonderful one and enjoy your spring break.
You too.
Okay, that is our friend Beckett Moore. Again, be sure to follow him at More Weather Official. Isn't he great? He's just absolutely amazing. He's been with us for the last couple of weeks. I am feverishly working behind the scenes to get another sponsor for the What the Weather segment. Remember, it was GradeWorks LLC. I hope Mike Vernacci and his wife are doing wonderful in Florida, but it gives you the opportunity to join him since it's a big part of our show. All right, so we go from that to gas prices. I was driving in down 141, looked over 309 at one station, 309 at another station, 319. Well, this is being affected all over the world. Let's take a look at oil and gas prices as they are rapidly rising as the Iran war shows no signs of letting up. The conflict, in which nearly every country in the Middle East has sustained damage from missiles or drone strikes, has left ships that carry roughly 20 million barrels of oil a day stranded in the Persian Gulf, unable to safely pass through, and that's the narrow mouth of the Gulf that they're trying to pass through that is bordered on its north side by Iran. The disruption and the damage to key oil and gas facilities in the Middle East has led to an interruption in the supply. Oil prices surpassed $90 a barrel on Friday. American crude settling at $90.90, up 36 from a week ago, and the international standard climbing 27% over the course of the week to land at $92.69 a barrel. So you're going to see those gas prices kind of go up and down. As I mentioned, in our area, seeing it kind of hover right around the 309, 319 a gallon. If you find it less than that, of course, drop in our eyes and ears out there. Drop in a comment and let us know. I'm sure you can probably find it a little bit less, but if it's below $3 a gallon, I would be very surprised by that. All right, some sad news. I recognized him from Will and Grace. You may have also noticed him from Friday the 13th. He passed away at the age of 60. Corey Parker reportedly died following a cancer diagnosis. He was only 60 years old. His sister and a loved one shared the news on Instagram and said, "I believe he left this world weightless, at peace, and surrounded with love." He appeared in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, 9.5 Weeks, Biloxi Blues, Big Man on Campus, Encino Woman, and The Rainmaker, but he had a recurring role as Josh on Will and Grace. So rest in peace. Some information, and some news about Rihanna. This I saw in entertainment news. Look at this. If anyone was in the California area, they may have heard about this. Gate to Rihanna's home and an RV hit by bullets as a suspect fired an assault-style rifle in her Beverly Hills area home. LA police responded to the report of the shooting on Sunday afternoon in the Beverly Hills post office neighborhood. The pop star was home, and a spokesperson and a 30-year-old female suspect the spokesperson officials said a 30-year-old suspect was taken into custody. The suspect fired multiple rounds from inside her vehicle toward the celebrity's home. Fortunately, no injuries reported, but the radio dispatch for the incident said that at least 10 shots had been fired at the residence from a vehicle across the street from the property's gate. Absolutely crazy. Just, again, happy to hear that there were no injuries from that. All right, I'm doing this story because unfortunately it has a tie to me growing up. My back neighbor lost his son in a senior prank that went wrong. And so many times you see these. What happened with ours in our particular personal circumstance, they had a senior prank. They brought in a bunch of sand in a dump truck. And unfortunately, our neighbor's son slipped and was run over by that dump truck. Something very similar happened here. You had a bunch of kids that went to this teacher's home and they put up a bunch of toilet paper, and he came out, and when he went running after the kids, he slipped, tripped, fell, and was run over and later died at the hospital. The 5 young people, again, were arrested and charged with criminal trespass and littering on private property. One was also charged with first-degree vehicular homicide and reckless driving. Look, a prank that seemed so innocent, and look how wrong it went. I implore you to talk to your kids about these circumstances. This is why I'm doing this in news you can use, because these are the situations. I know they seem freak and, oh, come on, let kids be kids. No, because now that child's life has completely changed, as well as a person's life being taken, all because someone thought they were being funny. It's just not worth it. Please, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, share this story with them, because this is what could happen to them when they think something so innocent is not going to go wrong, and it does. All right, let's go from that to a happier story about a young woman. She barely made it out of her house onto a like kind of a makeshift couch that was right outside of her apartment because her baby decided to come a little earlier than she thought. And she didn't have names in her mind, but she thought, what the heck, I'm going to name my child after one of the officers that helped me deliver the baby. This is in New York. A group of New York police officers were nearby to help. The mother and her newborn reunited with the officers to thank them for everything. The woman looked at that newborn and said, "You are the only thing that matters to me, my whole world." And she was just absolutely in tears once she saw the officers again. The baby, by the way, is now a month old, was in a hurry to be brought into the world. She literally barely made it to a piece of discarded furniture that was outside her building to lie down as she went into labor back in February. She said it was all a blur, but she does remember seeing a lot of blue. Officer Keanu Phillip said at the police academy they watched a video on helping a woman give birth, but were told it was rare. Well, but it happens. It's exactly what they were tasked to do. And the officers were assigned to a post to deter violent crime when they were flagged down. They arrived before any other first responders. Remy, by the way, said he was in shock when he found out that that was the baby's middle name, right? So they ended up deciding to put a tie to the officers that helped bring that gorgeous baby into the world. I just love that's one of those feel-good stories. We've got a couple of more feel-good stories for you, including what took place at Lifetime Fitness in Frontenac. They had this Move for a Cause fundraiser for the Children's Miracle Network on Saturday, a morning full of a ton of different workout classes, all raising money for the Children's Miracle Network. Way to go, Lifetime. I used to work out there for about 6 years, and my friend Brittany is now a trainer there. They had cycling and yoga and strength training and dance, a lot of different activities. The gym's goal was to raise $7,500, and I hope they were able to do just that. I meant to do this story on Friday. I didn't get a chance to get it in, but let this woman inspire you. She's 86 years old. I'm going to say young. She is a World War II survivor. She survived World War II. Her parents, unfortunately, did not. Here she is, inspiring through fitness. Ekris Williams, that's her name. She teaches water aerobics twice a week, lift weights. She runs 5 to 6 miles at a time. A former German Olympian inspired her to run, and she said she has not stopped since. She teaches her water aerobics class, World Gate Athletic Club in Virginia. So if you know anybody in Virginia, tell them to go and take classes from her because she will inspire you for sure. store. All right, in some sports news, first of all, how would you like to have all you can eat when you go to a Cardinals game? Well, you can have just that. It's going to be in the Big Mac land where you have to buy your tickets, but they're as cheap as $29. We're talking about your favorite ballpark food. No beer in this. 3 items at a time. So chicken tenders and brats and French fries and peanuts and kettle chips and ice cream cups. Yes, the Cardinals are ready for you. All you can eat when they kick off the season for 2026. So if you're interested in that, again, $29 is how much the tickets are. At least that's a starting price. And it'll be in the Big Mac land area. All right, how about the Billikens? I told you I had a chance to watch their final home game. Then they played on Saturday. Unfortunately, they did lose in that final home game, but now they are into the postseason despite a closing 86-57 loss to George Mason. They received a double bye into the tournament quarterfinals, and they actually have the number 1 seed for the A10 championship in Pittsburgh, March 11th through the 15th. The Blues shut out the Anaheim Ducks. The final was 4-0. It's the Islanders coming to town to play the Blues tomorrow night at 6:30. St. Louis City SC, they lost to Seattle on Saturday 1-0. Their next game will be on Saturday, and they are in town, by the way, against LAFC. It's going to be a busy one downtown with the big St. Patty's Day parade. So plan to leave early, and you may have to do a little more walking as you try to find your parking. Okay, I left the house today and thought, whew, I've been through a lot with just crazy busy with the show, but also with caregiving. And I was like, I need to take a nap. Well, ironic because today is National Napping Day. It's also Get Over It, Monica. Get over it. So what? You're tired. National Get Over It Day. It is National Meatball Day, National Crab Meat Day. And hey, do you all have those Barbies still? It is National Barbie Day. Okay. I mentioned that over the weekend, I had a chance to go to the Home and Garden Show. It was finally back downtown at America Center. It was also, by the way, the exact same day that everyone was wrapped around America Center for the Zach Bryan concert, which I don't know if you or anybody else that you know went to it, but holy cow, it was very hard to find parking. I think one of the favorite things, besides seeing our wonderful sponsor Angie Hess with all the spas and the hot tubs and everything that she had there, was the dog show. Oh my gosh, they were so talented. And what I love about this guy, he was able to train all these incredible animals, and they were all rescue dogs. So we're talking Australian Shepherds. They had a blue heeler. The dogs were so unbelievably talented. In fact, they just wanted to go with those Frisbees. The guy, the trainer, he was out of breath. He was cracking me up. He took his vest off. He was sweating so bad and out of breath. And he's like, these guys don't want to stop. But I mean, he was kicking Frisbees. They're all catching him. They even got to a point where he had them jump on his leg and then in the air. The dog, I can't even tell you how high the dogs were, but so unbelievably talented. Hopefully you had a chance to see that as well. Hopefully you had a chance to go down and get some new ideas as we go into spring and a beautiful season ahead, even though that snows in the forecast next week. All right, you're all up to date. I hope you're all having a great start to your day. Good morning to you all. One fell swoop. We've got a really exciting show on tap for you today and a very educational show at that. Have you ever heard of thermography? Do you know what it is? Ladies, you have a choice when it comes to your health. So you may have always been told you have to have mammograms. You don't have to. You have a choice in thermography, and we're going to talk all about that when we return.
What if you could start your day loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover faster, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
And that is where you find us. YouTube, again, multiple platforms, including Twitch. I know a lot of your kiddos like to watch on Twitch. There's wonderful podcasts that they come across. And then, of course, they're doing their gaming. So if you and your younger generation want to watch on that platform, that is the reason that I started it there. So if there's a platform, by the way, that we're not on, let us know. But we are on 7 different platforms for you right now, live. And then if you have to run off to work, be sure to come back, especially to this one. Thermography. Now, I had heard about it a handful of years ago, but I still put it off, which is the wrong thing to do. And I'm going to stress that today, that if it is into your mind of, I don't want to be around the radiation, I want a choice to maybe not do mammograms, the choice is there for you, and that is what today's show is all about. Let me introduce you to my guest, who I had a chance to, well, actually, I met her a couple of years ago. We did a really amazing piece with the Grunt Style Foundation. I hope you all had a chance to see that. And from there, I had already known about her. I should have done it then, but I didn't. I put it off. So April Abbonizio, make sure I'm pronouncing your name right, is with Midwest Thermography Solutions. First of all, welcome. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And again, I never want to do the shame on people, right? Or shame on myself. It's just make sure you hear this and that you educate yourself and then you reach out. So I'm really happy to see the response we've had so far to the reels and the stories that I've had out. People are intrigued. The number one question they all asked, of course, and it's like, this is our mindset, April. Everyone's like, oh, is it covered by insurance? Oh, is it covered by Medicare? It's interesting, though, of how people look at their health these days, because they're so frustrated with insurance that a lot of people are saying, well, I'm just going to do cash options. I'm just going to go at it my own. I saw somebody make a comment, though, that they did turn it into their insurance and they had some of it covered. So I'm just going to ask you before we even begin, is thermography covered by insurance?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
It depends on your insurance.
Yep. That was the comment I made. Okay, so that was the right response. So it's beneficial for you to try.
Yeah, usually it's not, but it does run through HSA and FSA cards.
Okay. Well, and again, who knows? Hopefully it'll change. There's so many things that I hope will evolve over the coming years. And I mean, it has. We look, chiropractics, people with massage with chiropractors covered. So you never know. These are the things that we will look at. But the main thing you have to think about is you have a choice. Do you want to continue to do mammograms, or do you want to say, never mind, I'll pay it out of pocket? This is what we'll talk about today. But we'll talk about what it is. First of all, let me give you the information. We'll do this several times throughout the show of how you can find April. You can follow her also on social media. But this is where they are located. So they're in the town and country area. Make sure that you pass this information along. MidwestThermographySolutions.com. And then on Instagram at Midwest Thermography Solutions. The phone number 314-882-7529. As I mentioned, I just had a chance to go and do this. Was that last week or a couple of weeks ago? You also have to stay tuned. You do not want to miss the customer service that they have of what happened with my mother, because that's going to be shown as well. But I wanted to do today, because we're going to go and literally walk you through the whole process coming up in just a couple of weeks or a few weeks in April 2nd. We will be at Midwest Thermography in the afternoon. I always like the backstory, though. I always like the lead up to what we know the person for. So we can't do anything in life without the support of those around us. So we're going to, first of all, give a shout out to your family, because they're right there with you, walking arm in arm with you. There's your beautiful family. Introduce us to them.
My husband, Mike, and my older daughter, Audrey, and her daughter, Isla, who is now 4.5. And my youngest is Avery. She's 19. She's a freshman at the University of Kentucky.
Oh, fantastic. Beautiful family. What's it like to be a grandma?
We don't say that word.
I knew it. I knew. Why did I know you were going to say that? Are you a Mima? Are you Gigi? Oh, me.
And it's fabulous.
We don't say that word. I know. We're all like, I am way too young to be that G word.
Yeah. I said, I don't care what she calls me, just not grandma.
Well, let me ask this, because as we're looking at this beautiful family, your girls and your young Mimi daughter, right? Do they understand what you do? And do you tell them these are the choices that you have?
Yeah, so my girls are old enough to understand, and actually Audrey, my oldest, who will be 25 next week, actually Saturday.
Happy birthday early.
She has had thermography done already,
fantastic.
so
Okay.
she's about the age where you can start getting, as far as breast, a baseline. But she some health issues, so we've done a little bit more on her.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
that was going to be my question, April. If we think of mammograms, do those usually start around mid-30s?
I
Unless
think
there's
your
a background.
baseline, right, correct.
Yeah.
Like mid-30s is
Yeah.
your baseline, I think.
So, and so, yes, as we're going along, if I go back into my 20s, I wasn't even thinking about this, right? But was that doing us a disservice? I don't know. So 25 for thermography?
Yeah.
Interesting.
As a child, your thermal patterns aren't stable. And once, I don't know, it's about 18 to 22, I guess, after college, they stabilize and they don't change. And so any change in a pattern is your first sign that something's going on.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you're just tuning in and you have any questions, we are very interactive in the comment section. So feel free to comment and ask questions. If you have to rush off, do a little hashtag replay later so both April and I can see your questions. I'll be bopping around to Instagram as well, but Facebook and YouTube and Twitch all come into me on this platform. If you're on any of the other ones, I'll be sure to see those and make sure that we get those to her. So let's just do this as we're getting your background. People saying, I don't understand. What is thermography?
It's digital infrared thermal imaging.
Okay.
It's basically taking a thermal digital picture of the body. Nothing touches the body. It's just like a camera
right.
that takes a picture, and it captures the infrared radiation that's coming off of our skin, and that tells us what your blood flow patterns look like.
Okay, so we're looking at all these colors on the screen, and you're all probably like, so are those good things? Are those bad things? When it's red, is that not a good thing? Right? We have no clue, but that's why we have April in here. So is it that easy to say? Oh, because I asked April when it was done to me, oh, can you tell stuff already? Because April then sends this report out to doctors all over the country, right?
Yeah, it's a group of doctors who... one of them, and they're all over the world, actually. It's global.
Okay.
Yeah. And they are all MDs, board certified in thermology, and one of them will grab, your report and read your images and write up a report.
And it comes back quick, by the way, because
3 to 5 days.
Right. So she delivered my report, and we'll talk about mine. I like to be very open and honest with you. We'll talk about my report coming up in just a little bit. But when you are doing it and you're seeing the images pop up and you're looking at different colors, in your mind, can you see things already?
I mean,
No.
It's so specific. They look down to each pixel. There's
Wow.
30,000 pixels on an image. They look at temperature differentials between the pixels. And so, if something's really big in a later stage of cancer, sometimes we could notice it, especially on the breast. But really, it takes their software and expertise to figure that pattern out.
So we pulled some of these images from Midwest Thermography Solutions website, or actually Instagram. So the top picture showing normal symmetry of healthy breasts, and then in the middle it shows suspicious vascular activity and inflammatory breast disease. So when we're doing thermography, and let me stress this because it's literally from head to toe, that people might be thinking, okay, Monica's talking about for all of us having a choice. Women, I stressed women. This is for everyone. She just said 25-year-old to get a baseline, but I know people that are going in to check many areas of the body. It's literally head to toe, right?
Literally.
What do
Bottom of your feet.
Which is good. So you've been doing this for, what, is it 11 and a half years now?
Yeah, 11 years, yeah.
What would you say the highest percentage of your patients are? Is it for breast or no?
Yeah.
Yes, it would be.
The highest percentage is, but women, I would say a close second would be a half body, which is head to pelvis.
Okay.
I think women are very interested, and men, but 98% of my clients are
women? Okay.
Interested in what's going on in the trunk.
Sure.
Too.
In the trunk, yes. What about for men? Are from a prostate standpoint and everything? Are they?
It's not a very sensitive test for prostate for men.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay. So if men are coming, what are they having checked?
Usually, it's either half body or full body.
Okay.
So basically their trunk, but their thyroid, dental issues, vascular issues. I mean, if there's, any type of inflammation or dysfunction in the body, it will typically show up as an abnormal pattern.
And so here's what we're going to say. So once that report comes back, then in 3 months, you come back again to figure out what, like your normal base. Is that right?
For breast,
Right.
If it's your first time, it does take 2 separate appointments to create that baseline.
Okay.
Because we don't know if you're, we see things so early, we don't know if you're starting to make a change or not because we have nothing to compare it to the first time you come in.
Right.
So the recommendation is to let your blood cycle through, come back, and repeat. And if it's stable, then your body is likely not undergoing a change right now.
Okay, very good. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is April. April is the owner of Midwest Thermography Solutions. I'll be looking at questions and comments as you're all popping on. Aaron just said, Windmill Wellness loves April. Always great information.
Love them.
So yes, here you go. It's 257 Lamp and Lantern Village in Town and Country, MidwestThermographySolutions.com, 314-882-7529. So if you are driving, and I know sometimes a lot of you like to take the show with you, please do not look down at the screen while you're driving. Just listen to the information. And then more importantly, don't put off, like I did, the appointments once you get that scheduled. I actually told April when I sat down for my own consultation, and we'll talk about as we go through this whole process. She's like, do you have any concerns? And I said, I'm concerned that I didn't get in here 3 years ago because you were asking me when was my last mammogram. Mm-hmm. And I think I even switched the year on you. And I said, oh my gosh, shame on me. I think it was 21. What did I come up with? 21, 22, I think?
I don't even remember.
I think I said 2021 or 2022, which is not a good thing because we've got to know what's going on in our bodies. When we have thermography, is it a yearly thing?
It is recommended
Okay.
as an annual screening.
Okay, so you come in and then you come back in 3 months because it's a 2 part for the baseline. Then it's once a year?
And then it's once a year.
Okay.
If it's stable.
If it's stable, right. But if something pops up, then we'll know. All right, we'll get into, again, what it looks like in just a bit. But we're going through talking about the personal side of April, which a lot of you that maybe have been going, maybe you don't know. That's what I enjoy doing. So we talked a little bit about the personal life. But how did you get into the holistic world?
Well, it kind of started when I had my first, Audrey.
Right.
And, you want to do everything right, everything healthy. And a lot of the holistic people kind of fell into my world at that point. But it really wasn't until after I had Avery, and she's 19, that I had some health issues myself and was seeing a naturopathic doctor. And through diet and lifestyle and supplements was able to heal a lot of issues that I had after I had her. So I had a lot of anxiety, which I had never had before. My heart would pound and my stomach would be upset. And just through changing my diet, balancing my hormones, my thyroid, all of that went away. And so I was able to heal myself naturally. And then I became very interested in that. So I took a deep dive.
Agreed. And I think, honestly, April, that was kind of my same walk of when you have the realization of I don't have to go to a medicine cabinet and just take this pill. Okay, this pill's not working, so I'm prescribed another pill, and it's pill against pill against pill. Right. And you're like, wait a minute, is this good for my body? Research, educate. I mean, that's the thing. You do have a choice, and you just got to open your mouth sometimes and ask, right? I'm a firm believer in Western and Eastern culture medicine having a marriage. You agree with that?
Agreed.
Right. So we're not at all saying one's better than the other.
Correct.
We're saying that you've got to find what works with your body, and all of our bodies are so, vastly different. So you went into the nutrition route.
I did. I was a dental hygienist for 14 years, and my passions just changed. So I went back, and I went back to school to get a nutrition degree, and quickly realized that the traditional nutrition degree was not for me.
Yeah. Well, so I know I was reading your background and I was like, oh, interesting. So while you were doing it, what part didn't connect with you?
Well, it was the same thing for everybody, and we're all so different, and it wasn't a holistic view of nutrition. And so I backed out and just went to Institute for Integrative Nutrition and got a integrative nutrition health coaching certificate, and started health coaching.
Interesting. It's fascinating to me. Again, as you're all hearing this, I always love to say, see yourself in the story. You're going along. She's doing from a dental hygienist standpoint, and you think, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I have a choice. I want to do this. So you went along with that, but how do you go from that to then thermography?
So I was about 35-ish and had my baseline mammogram, and I was talking to a friend actually about it, and she said, have you ever heard about thermography? And I had not. And so we talked about it for a little bit. I did my research, and we got back together at some point, and I was talking to her about it, and I said, there's not many people who do thermography in St. Louis. And because I was going to go have it done. And she said, well, why don't you do it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. And so I did call several different companies. And with my science background and health coaching background, I was able to purchase the equipment, be trained, and that kind of took over my business. I was going to integrate it with health coaching. And I still do, when I go over reports, use that health coaching background, but really my focus is thermography now.
Isn't this beautiful? I just love the walk of life and how at any given point, something can enter into your mind, and it could be a passion. As I mentioned before, it could be a hobby that takes you into another direction. And here it is. And so 11 and a half years ago, how did you team up to where you are? And so Dr. Seth, by the way, shout out to Dr. Seth, who I had met years back and ran into him at a cafe. And this is how this all came about. And I was like, he's like, how's the show going? I'm like, it's going so well. You got to come on the show. And then he's like, you know what? I think you and April need to meet. And I'm like, oh, we did briefly.
Yeah.
But I said yes. And we just felt like this was great synergy. So how did you get connected with him?
I think I met him at a networking event or a health fair. I think I just met him through that. And then another friend of mine and I connected with him as a functional medicine doctor, and we've just became fast friends. Now we're sharing office.
Yeah, and the office space, by the way, is very, very warm. This is the view for you of the walkthrough once you actually get into April's space. So that's the thing that I want people to see. When you're going to go in for this, it is warm, it's welcoming. It is not at all what you feel when you go in and have mammograms,
Yeah.
which feels very cold and sterile.
Right.
So was that in your mind of this is what we have to do to make
Totally.
it?
Yeah, we have to make it comfortable, a safe space, a comfortable space. We don't want people are nervous when they come in. And, they go to the doctor, they see Dr. Seth, they have lymphatic treatments with Eva, they see Kelly, or they're coming to me and they're just nervous. So anything calming is great.
Absolutely. It's a must. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're running through and we're finding out the background that led her to this incredible career. By the way, from a thermography standpoint, we're going to switch gears of what it looks like, but we don't want to give you too much of it because I want to go there and take you through that on April 2nd. So that afternoon, we will be there at 4 p.m. and we will show you exactly what it's like. I'll give you more of a background on my own tests, but we'll show you some of those images today, and you do not want to leave the show until we show you what April and Dr. Seth did with me with my mama. It's all coming up here on the real Monica Adams Show.
The world needs to be more positive. Yep. The world, and I'm spreading positivity with my air fresheners. So,
you and I both,
yes.
sir.
Sadly, I wasn't aware of the Monica Adams Show until recently, and was I missing out?
I'm definitely going to turn this on in the mornings on our TV.
She's helping people to understand their value. She's helping women to transform their lives.
From the minute that we walked in, I felt just really comfortable and at home here.
You are always a ray of sunshine and positivity.
Thank you for what you do. I love this whole thing that you're doing.
It's good news. It's great news. It's uplifting and empowering.
But you were engaged, and I love that. So thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. Today we are talking about thermography, but I like to know the backstory of someone before we ever show you what you might know them for. So we're going to be at Midwest Thermography Solutions. Once again, they're located in Town and Country. You can follow them on Instagram at Midwest Thermography Solutions or the website, MidwestThermographySolutions.com. To set up an appointment, can they set up online or do they call that number?
Either.
Either?
Yep.
Okay.
The website, it's probably easier to go to the website just because you can do it on your own time.
Yeah.
Look at the calendar.
But if you're old school and you like to call, then call.
Yes.
April Abbonizio. And Michael, by the way, shout out to you. Michael's watching on Instagram. Michael's her husband. Dot is the person who actually turned me on to you.
Yeah.
Dot is watching, and she said, I get my thermography from April every year, along with an ultrasound. That's going to be my next question.
Mm-hmm.
So happy I shared this and grateful now that you're sharing with other women. Research and educate ourselves. That is what is so very important. Absolutely. And so that was the question. So if something does come up and something is seen in this, do you then say, okay, now this needs to be looked at further, and then they make a choice? They can make a choice to go the old route that they knew, which was mammogram, or ultrasound, which is the other thing that I didn't know about. So do you have different people that you have, like your own team of experts where you say, here's who I would recommend going to?
Yeah, connected with a lot of, different practitioners for that. So thermography is physiological. We don't see anatomy and structure like an ultrasound or mammogram or MRI. So it's a very different type of test, and it's not diagnostic, it's a screening to say, is there an area that I need to look further into? Okay. So I still would recommend some type of structural imaging on an annual or biannual basis, depending on how high risk you are.
Okay.
So I don't feel like thermography is the alternative, the one and only. I feel like it works well in conjunction with structural testing. So a lot of my patients who do not want to do mammograms compromise with this and ultrasound.
Right. So let me ask this, because we didn't mention this earlier. As far as when you said you went into it and you were like, there's not a lot of people in St. Louis that are doing this. You're doing it, which is why a lot of people like to come to April. It's not that she's the only one, but the only other ones, you have to be a patient of theirs. Is that correct?
No, I think there is another
Maybe
company who is independent, but there are a couple doctors, maybe 3 or 4 doctors who do thermography where you have to be their patient, to get it done there.
But still, not a lot. I mean, you just
Correct.
like maybe a handful
Right.
that are doing it. So, as we said, maybe more and more, I'd love to revisit this in 3, 5, 10 years to say, oh, wow, now maybe insurance is covering it. Maybe there are more people that are doing it. Again, why do you think of the 90% of women that come to you, what do they tell you? Do they just say, boy, someone told me that this is an option for me and I am afraid of radiation? That was my comment from my friend Dot. Bridget, who was just recently on the show, she said the same thing. Is that what you hear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mostly. Yeah. Radiation, it's 50 pounds of pressure. The compression on any part of your body is not good, and I know it catches a lot. It's like screening, but I feel like there are other options for people who don't want the radiation every year and compression every year.
And then also, if something was found in a mammogram, don't they then turn you and say, have an ultrasound?
Yeah, that they usually have to get an ultrasound.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why we don't bypass that in the first place and do thermography and ultrasound.
I don't either.
She's like, good. Monica, get that out there. Agreed. Again, we're talking with April, who is the owner of Midwest Thermography Solutions. If you have any questions, this might be very new to you. Pass this along, by the way. Make sure that you always share and like and follow our live streams so that other women can be aware of this as well. So let's walk them through this, okay? As you go in, the very first thing, you're sitting down. So as we said, it's not like a typical, oh, I'm going in, I'm afraid, it's in a clinical setting, it's very cold and sterile to me. As I just mentioned, it's very warm. And you sit down, you're on a chair, and then you go through the consultation. You're asking about our medical background.
Yes.
Right? And so and my mom was there with me, by the way, as we were doing this. It was interesting because as soon as we got home and she was talking to my aunt, sure enough, they were like, oh, yeah. The other aunt had breast cancer. I'm like, I knew it. But you said, well, it's a good thing it's not a sister or your mom. So there's like, not far removed, but it's removed. What kind of questions are you asking before we go through the thermography?
If they've ever been on hormone replacement, contraceptive, do they do a physical exam every year? Do they do a breast exam every month? How many children they've had, at what age, how many mammograms have they had if they've had mammograms. It's a complete health history because the doctors take all of that into account as they assess your risk. So you'll be put in a category, low risk, within normal limits, low risk, moderate risk, high risk, or malignancy.
So that's what so when the report came back and I was looking through and April right away said, hey, if you want to reach out to me, if you want to go through this report. And I thought, I'm going to do it with her as we go between this show today. And then when we sit down, because I want to be real with you. I think that's what's really important is there's no reason to hide anything from you. Let's talk about, so this actually, we can show some of the images. This is my report that came back. And again, I look at all these colors and I'm like, what does it mean? Is this a bad thing, etc. Mine did say at some risk. So you just went through the categories, none at all, and then it was the next tier, right? It's not this extreme tier. But what does that mean when it says at some risk?
Well, a lot of times with your first one, they will put you at some risk just because they don't have a baseline yet. So they don't have that stability.
Gotcha.
That's known.
So in 3 months, we will then know, and then it'll give us more information at that point.
It will, and it will be a little more accurate as far as your risk. If you're stable, then you will likely go down to a low risk.
Cross our fingers.
Yeah.
But if not, it's comforting to know, hey, you're doing something about it, right? You don't want to get to a point where you're just putting it off. As I said, I put off my mammograms all because it was entered into my head of, do you want to be around that radiation? It's also, if there is something that's there, I mean, how painful would it be to be squished like that? And is that dangerous actually?
Well, I mean, it's if a tumor is encapsulated, you're risking a rupture,
right?
With a lot of pressure. Hopefully, they're not putting that much pressure on it, but
as we know, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and a lot of women are more sensitive than others, and a lot of technicians put more pressure on than others. So I think it just depends on a lot of factors.
So again, we're talking about being proactive, and if something's found, then it then becomes okay. Let's have you go into ultrasound. How many? Because I talked to somebody the other day that does ultrasound, like full body ultrasounds, right? And I said, oh, so do you do ultrasound for breast? And he's like, we can, but I'd highly recommend that you go to someone who specializes in that. So making that comment, how many people in our area are specializing in that? I know somebody, I think, is it Kirkwood or Creve Coeur?
Well, I'm not sure actually what it's considered. It's on Lindbergh, just north of 40. Shiro Imaging is a big shout out to her.
Yes, that's who it was.
Dr. Singer. Yeah, she is fantastic. It's a breast center that she does a bunch of different types of imaging, and she's great.
Okay.
I send all my patients there.
Right. So it's all about the synergy back and forth of let's work with people. Again, it's not like, oh, that's competition. I don't want to give them a name. She just did it. I want to give a shout out because they do work hand in hand. So again, thermography. Linda said, I think we can all agree the mammogram should be eliminated. And we do this or the ultrasound. Men must be making this decision, those who invented that mammogram machine. Well, here's the thing that I really love about April. She's like, I'm not going to I can't knock mammograms. But when we say that there's an option and maybe you don't have to go that route, you don't have to. You can go and do this, and then you can go and do ultrasound. I was reading, so if we come in and we're doing our baseline and then we come once a year, you're also recommending doing the ultrasound? Is it like alternate years or?
I personally, that's all something that you have to figure out yourself. Okay. But personally, I would not skip a year of thermography because when we're watching your body at a cellular level and watching those blood flow patterns, that's your first sign of change.
Okay.
And it may not, on average, what a lot of people don't know is on average in structural imaging, when they find something, it's been there 8 years.
I was just going to go into that. Yes.
Yeah. So
8 years.
Yes. And it's now just big enough to be seen. But all that tumor is just a ball of cancer cells.
Right.
And that's what we're watching. We're watching your cells, your blood cells. And so if we can see changes changes early on, they may not be able to see it yet.
Yeah.
You know, if we can catch it that early.
8 years, folks. I wanted her to say that because I was reading through what some of the background that you gave us, and I read that, and I paused, and I'm like, am I reading that? Do I need to put my glasses on? Does that say 8 years? Just think about that being there that long. And if you're doing the thermography, these things are going to be able to show up, and then they'll have this discussion with you. Debbie just said, I have to get my blood tested every year because I have a family history of cancer, and I have ITP, which platelets go below normal levels. So cancer and a blood disorder to watch out for. It can be scary. Right, so these are the things that, again, when we just mentioned, it's literally head to toe when you're doing thermography of what could show up. Now, my sister-in-law, she had to reschedule because she had to fly to Florida for a friend whose husband unfortunately passed away 2 days ago. So she was so excited about this, and she's like, I want to have this done because she has implants, and she's like, I'd like to see how different. But she also wanted to have something checked on her thigh that had come up, a few years back. But she was like, I'm sure it's going to look different because I have implants. That's her comment.
It doesn't look different because we don't see structure.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you have implants or not because the blood flow we're looking at is right underneath the skin. So we have to, when we're imaging, we have to see your skin.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. The density doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter if you have implants.
We're laughing because I have the comment. Before we take a break, I just want you to listen to what April said to me. Here you go.
I'm going to take a couple because it looks like you might be dense, and dense tissue is cooler in nature, so I'm just going to take a couple.
She just called me dense, everybody.
I also said your breasts were cool.
I had to. The big goofball in me. So as soon as she said that we're being very clinical, we're being serious, and I'm like, you just called me dense. What does it mean, by the way, when we're talking about dense?
There's a lot of tissue packed in there.
Great.
The younger we are, the more dense our breasts are.
Oh, now she's calling me young. I love you, April.
But dense tissue it's harder to see accurately in a mammogram with denser tissue.
Interesting.
So the younger, the denser you are, the more effective thermography and ultrasound would be.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So once again, Midwest Thermography Solutions. If you have any questions, please drop them in right now. I know some of you sign on a little after 7:30. If you missed any of the beginning part of the show, be sure to come back to that. We are going to go to Midwest Thermography Solutions in Town and Country coming up on April 2nd. You don't want to miss that show at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because we're going to go really in depth into this. If you want to make your own appointment, though, 314-882-7529. Again, the website is MidwestThermographySolutions.com. Follow them on social media on Instagram at Midwest Thermography Solutions. Okay, we are going to go to a break, and when we come back, more with April.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover faster, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show, Thermography. We are talking about it today, and we're going to go really in depth on April 2nd. You don't want to miss that show. April is the owner, by the way, of Midwest Thermography Solutions. And if you have any questions, drop them into the comments right now. Sue just said, thanks for sharing this story and informing us. Girlfriends helping girlfriends. Yes, women lifting up women. Michelle just said, what makes boobs cool?
Well, usually denser breasts thermally are cooler less lower temperature, which is different, colors on there.
So you would think it would pop up as blue.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. Green,
Okay.
blue. Yeah.
It would make sense, right? I'm known for the
Yeah.
color blue. So there we go. It makes sense. Linda, well, I used to be dense also. Now I'm old and no longer a dense person. Okay, so we said in the very beginning, if you missed what thermography is, we also talked about, which I thought was very interesting, tumors detected by mammogram have typically been present for an average of 8 years. I wanted you to hear that. But also cancer cells double approximately every 90 days.
Every 90 days. Yep.
Wow.
Yes. It's fast.
Yeah, and just scary. None of us ever want to hear that C word, but if we do hear it, we want to get to it as soon as possible.
Very quickly.
Right?
Yes.
That's what this is all about, and this is why, early detection.
Very
so
early.
thermography detecting changes between scans that may indicate developing abnormalities. So when you do this, again, yes, it is going to be that you go in, and then in 90 days, you come back, and then they can establish the baseline. So we're going to go through my own scan in just a few weeks. I didn't want to do that today because when we sit there and we showcase it all, and we'll show you a lot of different images. Again, it's from head to toe. I know we're talking about breast right now, but head to toe. So you have any concerns and you don't want to go through the radiation of mammograms or any other tests, this is an opportunity. Medical thermal imaging, as you see, early detection. I can't stress this enough. So if there's something that concerns you, it is safe, it is painless, you can target problem areas. And I think that's the whole thing. Men and women both, nobody wants to be told something horrific,
Right.
but we also don't want to be told it 5 years too late.
Right.
I hope I am getting that across to you. It's always scary to go into a doctor because, and that's mainly men, don't you agree? Men don't want to go, we have to get them to go.
I mean, I have a handful of men that come to me. That's it. It's mostly women.
Right, yeah, but so we need to let them understand that it's there for them as well and for you to get into it. So we all have a unique thermal pattern. It's not a cookie cutter.
Nope.
Right? Everybody's different. Detection changes in cellular activity and blood flow. Again, the patterns remain stable unless there's inflammation or dysfunction, which you're seeing some of the images. And so, if that comes up, then they will guide you. April will say, okay, now I want you to go and have an ultrasound. So that maybe this showed up. The thing that I love, though, is it's non-invasive and it's an early detection tool. You make it so simple, so warm. You were meant for this. I mean, I know you've done a lot of other things. So again, if you just tuned in, she was a dental hygienist. She went into nutrition. She still uses the aspects of that. But when she was introduced to it herself and a friend said, well, why don't you do it? She took that and said, sure, let's run with this. What do you love most about what you're doing?
I love everybody who comes in. It's a lot of similar thinking with all my patients, and I don't know, it's such a warm atmosphere that it creates good conversation. I've made friendships with patients.
I'm sure.
I mean, it's a lot of, I schedule plenty of time, so I have buffer time to chat if needed or to answer any questions. I don't like to run late, so, but it's in helping people, if there is an issue, helping guide them to where to go is very satisfying.
Well, right. And so anybody that gets into the field of healing or any type of wellness or medicine, they're in that to help guide us along. But when you're going to a doctor and you're going into a hospital, all of it, just the fear starts to come into play. This, as I mentioned, you walk in, it's very warm, and you're not going in and having yourself smashed. You're just sitting down in the chair. Tell them what the camera is and so did we take 6 different?
We took 6 for breast, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a very simple, small camera, and it's probably a few feet away from you, and you're just sitting there swiveling in the chair to show different angles of whatever we're imaging.
And my mom, by the way, did take video, but I can't give this video to my director because it would be the real Monica Adams. We've got to get a blur on it. Hopefully we can do that before April 2nd. That's when I want to show it to you. Can I just say, though, beyond the fact that she helps you and guides you and makes you feel so comfortable, and again, it's very, very simple. Their customer service is above and beyond. I told you before we wrapped up the show that I was going to show you what happened. So Mom wanted to come along and see this. When we got there, I went, oh no. there are steps. Mom was in a wheelchair, still as we're taking her around. How are we going to get her up? Well, you all went above and beyond here. This is what happened.
Your customer service is amazing, April.
Okay, seriously. I asked Mom, is she ready? Did she want to go on the roller coaster ride? She was a little scared, as we both know. But April and Dr. Seth and myself took her up and down those stairs. In fact, this is us taking her down, which I think was a little bit scarier for her. Can we explain, though, why there isn't an elevator?
Apparently, our building was grandfathered in after that act, was an act. And so the Disability Act, so we were grandfathered in, so they don't require an elevator, unfortunately. I wish they would put one in where we've been asking. We've asked a chairlift something, but we don't have one. So we carried her down in a wheelchair, up and down.
She closes her eyes at one point. I'm like, trust us, and aren't you happy that the three of us are in good shape? My brother and sister-in-law, I sent that to them, and they're like, oh my God, that had to be scary. I'm like, we had her. We were not going to drop her. But yeah, I got there, opened the door, and looked up like it was Mount Everest.
Yeah,
You
it's a
saw
lot
me.
of stairs. Yes.
I'm like, we can't just leave her down here. What are we going to do? So Mama Jackie, we had you. I seriously cannot thank you enough, because otherwise I would have just had to leave her down there.
Yeah,
You guys are great. That's the customer service. When I
Happy to
mean
do it.
above and beyond, they truly went above and beyond. Stephanie said, they said, I have dense breast. Okay. Sounds like a plan. In 1999, before I got married, I had my mammogram. They found something. I had to have a biopsy. The doctor hardly got it out. It turned out to be fatty tissue. Okay. So many things, again, that will pop up, but they're going to determine the baseline, and then they'll take you from there. Before we wrap up, what would you say in 11 and a half years that you're proudest of?
Creating a successful business that is very helpful in what can be a very scary situation.
Sure. Yeah, you do. You definitely were meant for this. I know you went from dental hygienist to nutrition to this. I don't see you going into anything else. You were meant for this.
Yeah. No.
I feel that without barely really knowing you, but I was just like, she just was led to this. All right, so everybody knows that watches the show. We wrap up the show with our devotionals. So these books are 100 Days to Freedom books. I'm thinking I know what you're going to choose, but we'll see. So I always let my guests pick 100 Days to Freedom from fear and anxiety, from shame, from anger, from depression, or there's a new book called 100 Days of Healing. What would you think the world needs to hear today?
Healing.
Oh, she picked healing. I was like, she's either going to pick fear and anxiety or healing. Okay, so 100 Days of Healing. When we come back, and then we'll give you all the information. Again, any questions that you have that you didn't get a chance to ask, please do so. And then the main thing is get your appointment scheduled with her. Please don't put it off. And then once you've done it, keep coming back to Midwest Thermography Solutions. We'll give you all the information in just a sec.
Monica's show. It's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really important topics that don't get discussed enough.
It really just promotes people who are making change and doing good in their lives.
All right, so April chose healing. She said she almost picked fear and anxiety until I said the word healing, because she's in that field after all. So this is 100 Days of Healing by Stephen Arterburn. I love these books, and I know you all do as well. This is called The Light of God's Word. Your word is a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. Psalm 119, verse 105. Seekers of information often turn to Google when they need help. They just type in a few words, and voila. They also go to WebMD. It's not a good idea, right, April? Thousands of results fill that screen. It's amazing how in just a couple of decades, we've grown so reliant on the internet for all sorts of assistance. In Christ, we have a much more reliable and practical source of help than any search engine on any computer or any phone that you have. God gave his word to instruct and convict, to challenge, to inspire, and to encourage. When our way gets dark, God's word shines truth into our circumstances, bolstering our faith. Not only that, but in Ephesians 6, verse 17, Paul called the Bible the sword of the Spirit. When we claim God's word, we can destroy the lies of the enemy and beat back fear. The Bible's living, it's active, and it's powerful. So I'm going to ask, do you spend time meditating, studying the Bible? If so, you know the immense and timely help that it gives. Clarity of mind, calmness. If not, well, hey, you can start today. The Psalms are especially meaningful during times of distress. Let God's word wash over your wounded places and refresh your weary soul. You won't regret it. Kay Arthur said, as you study your Bible with the help of the Holy Spirit and live out the truths that God reveals to you, you'll discover new stability, new strength, and new confidence. In darkness, God's truth shines most clear. So, Lord, thank you for the precious gift of your eternal word, which lights my way. Forgive me for neglecting it and turning to other things instead. Amen to that. Yes, don't WebMD. Instead, get to April, and she'll say, I will calm you. I'll take care of you. One more time, April with Midwest Thermography Solutions. So follow them on Instagram at Midwest Thermography Solutions, the website on the screen for you, MidwestThermographySolutions.com. Again, she said that's probably the easiest way for you to set up your appointment. If not, you can call 314-882-7529, and they are in Lamp and Lantern Village at 257. So I went and had my own thermography, and we are going to go more in depth into all of that and kind of break through some of these images, because we showed you on screen, but a lot of you are like, I'm so confused by all that. I want to go deep into my current, but I will be going back in 3 months, and then we can do a follow-up to say, okay, this is what this was. Giving you the idea of, hey, I need to get in and I don't need to put it off any longer. So if you are like me and you've done that, please get in. Don't do that any longer, because, I mean, so many things could have happened in the last 3 or 4 years.
Correct.
Right? Which can be very, very scary. All right, April, thank you so much. Oh, hold on. I suffered from cancer and I was really scared of surgery. I think, hold on, before I continue to read that, it looks like a scam. I'm not going to read it.
Okay.
See, you never know. Things try to jump in on me. All right, April, thank you so much again for making this, for my own experience, so warm, so welcoming, and just ease of mind. We're not knocking mammograms. Overall, it is, please don't put it off. We don't want you to be scared, but the radiation, the compression aspect is what we wanted to say. You have a choice. Thermography and ultrasound is really where we're going in this. Looking forward to April 2nd.
Yes, me too.
It's going to be really eye-opening for a lot of you. So if you have any questions from here forward, please drop them in. I'll make sure that April sees them later. We'll take parts of this show, make sure the main part of why we're doing this is, again, to educate you and to let you know, as we had mentioned, that you do have a choice. Tomorrow, by the way, Testament Tuesday, we're going to hear from Bridget Childress. She is the sponsor of the brand new segment that we started with Childress Legal Nurse Consulting, and she wants to talk about gratitude. We'll do that at the very beginning of the show. And then we're going to have some fun with Angela Carter. Angela is the owner of Mary Tuttle's, which is down in Chesterfield. Have you ever been there?
I have.
It's dangerous, isn't it?
It.
It is an incredible store. If you've never been in, it is one of the most beautiful stores that you will ever step in. I mean this. So if you haven't been, here's what it looks like. As you walk in the doors, Mary Tuttle's, obviously some amazing flowers. So for anything, you want to send flower to somebody, you want flowers for yourself, that's a no-brainer. But look at this store. I'm talking jewelry. I'm talking things like home decor like you've never seen before. I think before I leave there, I'm going to get one of these robes. Have you seen the robes in there?
Oh, yes.
Do you have one?
I don't have one, but I have seen it. I actually gifted one.
Well, they're beautiful. I seriously, I can't wait for that. And then there they are. There it is, by the way. That's just one of them. And then these nightgowns and just the linens. I can go on and on and on and on, but you're going to want to come. It's March 25th when we'll be there, and it will be at 9 o'clock in the morning. We actually have 2 shows that day. 9 a.m. at Mary Tuttle's, 4 p.m. we will be at Exist Stretch, and we'll talk much more about that. We'll be at the Hampton location celebrating the wonderful Brian McKenna, a dear friend of so many of us here in St. Louis that was taken way too young almost a year ago on the 22nd. We will, 3 days later, be honoring his life, sitting down with the wonderful Babs clubs. And we just secured last night, if you are a fan of Pueblo Solis food, we will have that for you. We'll also have demonstrations and a bunch of giveaways. So mark 2 shows on your calendar for March 25th, 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. All right, Angela's Story tomorrow with Mary Tuttles. Thank you all so very much, and I hope you got educated. I hope you now know you have a choice and that you do something with that. Also, we tell you, believe in yourself just like she did. She was like, I can do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to change the world. And she did it. So believe, be kind, and God bless.